I know Brian Collins and company over there in Brunswick will be, they'll be out there putting the check together. Gene says, oh, the 10 bid. I love these 10 bids as long as they're to start a game and not to finish one. What a night on ESPN. First ever 300 game.
Wow, if that happened one shot earlier, but isn't that pretty? All 12 X's there.
Well, he joins a host of 5 other PBA players with perfect games in the championship round.
1967 at the Firestone Tournament Champions, Jack DeAngelo was the first one to do it. Then Johnny Gunther followed him up in, I believe, San Jose, and then Alameda, Jim Stepanich back in, I think, 1973 or 74 did it. And then Pete McCordy waited all the way till 1986. McCordy won $100,000, and Bob Benoit did it from the top spot in Grand Prairie.
First time ever, though, a 300 game on ESPN, and we're proud of that. It's been 7 years since I've been doing the telecast, and you've been around for, what, 11?
12 or 13 somewhere.
Wow.
And amazing that it's a senior that does it. You know, first time that a senior has done it on national television. And like you say, it's the rich. He's the leading money winner this year, no matter what.
What a night for Gene Stus and for senior bowlers throughout the country. A couple of years ago, no one had ever heard of Gene Stus. Almost a player of the year a year ago. And, well, after this 300 game, that might get him a few votes for this year.
Hey, that's bowling immortality right there. The name of Gene Stus now will never be forgotten in the game of bowling.
Interesting, because we found out just near the end of the championship game, or I should say that 300 game, that the Brunswick Corporation had put the $100,000 incentive in there, and I chatted with Gene after the game was over and we were in commercial break. I said, Gene, did you know that shot was for $110,000? He winked. Man, did he throw it nice, didn't
Boy,
he?
yes. For that much money, my heart would probably stop.
Well, you still remember the shots of Pete McCordy. Remember how Pete's knees were shaking? Boy, he threw a quality shot, though, in the 12th grade.
Sure did.
Yeah. Bob Benoit went through it like it was nothing.
He was really aggressive all the way through.
Oh, he was. He bowled a brilliant game that game.
And he had 12 plus shots. He didn't have anything. Gene had just one light hit here, and everything else was just...
Yep, he had one shot that was a little suspect, and it carried nicely. The rest of this is a bit anticlimactic, don't you think?
It seems that way.
We have to build our way back up.
It's interesting, you know, the mellow Southern California crowd, if anything was going to get them excited, it did now, but now there's a letdown here.
Stus now just trying to get back to ground level. That's more like it. And see if he can win another match and maybe head a little further up the ladder.
Well, of the 5 300s on television before, Johnny Gunther went on to win the tournament, and Bob Benoit did it from the top spot. The other 3 didn't win the tournament.
Well, there has to be a major letdown emotionally and physically after you shoot a perfect game. What a difference a week makes. 153 from the top seed position last week, probably the lowest he's ever felt in his bowling career. Then he walks up next week and shoots 300 and wins $110,000.
Way to average 225, huh?
Incredible, this game of bowling, the ups and downs. This goes to show you, though, you have to persevere.
Well, you talked to the top of the show about bouncing back. I guess he proved he could do it.
Do you think he heard us?
I guess.
A wonderful gentleman, though. I think the one thing I appreciate most about Gene is win or lose, he's always about the same. It's interesting because Dave Davis, PBA Hall of Famer, had dinner with Gene after the show in Las Vegas last week, and Dave said, I couldn't believe how well he took getting beat in the title match and shooting 153. So there's a real credit to him to be able to go out and enjoy himself that night and shake it off.
Well, he's proved himself, you know, not only a quality bowler, but a quality gentleman ever since he came out on the tour last year.
Tim Albin, the local pro from Torrance, California, trying to defeat the man who just shot 300. There's a strike, and obviously his wife, the appreciative of that shot. Well, that's a pretty outfit.
Tim's had that smile on his face the whole week long. Has not left his face.
Well, he wants to say a special hello to Al Utak, who just captured his 6th national wheelchair title. And is a very good friend of Tim's and a terrific bowler in his own right.
Good lob. Nice shot. Good reaction there.
The sun on hand as well. And, boy, for Gene Stus, what's your attitude right now? I mean, it would be awful hard to keep your head in this match, wouldn't it? I mean, you'd be thinking about taxes and what you're going to try and do with the CDs and, right?
I do.
That's what you'd be thinking about. Some new golf lessons, perhaps.
I think Gene, though, is as focused an individual as I've seen, you know, at winning. He wants to win, and that's what he's thinking about right now. But I think we need to mention, too, that Timmy is standing off to the side. We have two chairs back, and the bowler always sits in the chair. He injured his left knee before the tournament started, and he's been limping for the whole time. He had an automobile accident or a go-kart accident back in 1987, in which he was almost killed, and they almost had to put his body back together again. Pretty shot there. And he's going to have a doctor look at this knee after the tournament, but he's looking at it. It may have been a blessing in disguise, but he's afraid if he sits down that he won't get back up. So he bowled the entire qualifying round of 18 games and the entire match play of 24 games with never sitting.
Stus with a double, back ahead by 2 now. And Albin will try and regain the lead here in his second game. In case you've just joined us, Gene Stus shot 300 in the opening game, won $110,000, and became the 6th player in PBA history to shoot a 300 game in the championship round.
I tell you, I know what it's like to stand up there under that kind of pressure just for the first one, the 10th. I never got to the 12th like him, and I know how nervous I was at that point. You know, and the way he handled that, knowing that that was worth $100,000 more, that just shows me some intestinal fortitude inside of that man.
Let me ask you a question. Could it be easier for a senior to shoot 300, an older player, a guy that's accepted life for what it is, or for a younger player in your early 20s?
Well, I'll answer that in a minute. Let's take a look at Timmy's style here. 5-step player. He's always had a classic delivery. Shoulders level, nice level backswing, square at the foul line, on balance. It's hard to answer your question. Personally, I feel more relaxed, and I think I would be more relaxed in pressure situations. But when we bowl the senior touring pro doubles, it's always the touring player that is the anchor. And it's usually agreed upon by both parties. They consider that guy better.
Albin on the left-hand lane runs it up high and leads the 6-10. Albin right now trying to regroup a little bit.
Speed is the thing. He's trying to overcome the dryness out there with law. He's been doing that all week, but he's got to maintain the speed.
Got a lot of these in practice. Let's see if he handles it okay. Nope, took the 6 right off the 10. Keeps on smiling, but he trails in this match. And there are the 5 before tonight who had the perfectos. Gene Stus added to the list.
We've just discovered an...
Tim Albin just standing around right now, trying to keep that left knee loose.
And they made a special provision, you know, normally you have to sit in the chair, and so the tournament director, Rich Weber, said that as long as he moved over here and stood over here, he'd be no problem.
Gene Stus up by 18 on a double. We're in the 6th frame.
Well, he's got the luxury that when he goes straight down about 4 or 5, the ball lays in the pocket. When he swings it wide, it just banks back. He has not missed lane 22 yet. I mean, he had 12 there, and he's got 4 out of 6 here. So what have we got? 18 shots. He's got 16 strikes.
It's turned into a machine here this evening.
Gene the machine.
The green machine. Give it a little room. 6-pin. Didn't quite finish the job in the 10-pin stands.
And of course, Gene, now for the rest of his life, on some 10-pin stand, he's going to be saying, well, I'm thankful it didn't stand on that 12 shots.
Oh, my. Came out last year and won this event. And that was really what vaulted him to the top of the PBA Senior Tour. Tonight, barely takes the 10 out there.
It appears to be, I'll tell you what.
The fickle finger of fate was out last week in Las Vegas, but must have taken the week off here in Lakewood.
Well, you know, we talked about in the tip tonight, we talked about adjusting to lane conditions. He never made the right adjustments last week. This week he is, and what a difference it makes. I mean, he's the same bowler, just 1 week later, 150 to 300.
Better speed on this shot. A nice reaction for Tim Albin, who says,
His whole attitude this week is he may never get here again, and he's just going to have a good time while he is here.
Also wanted me to make sure, absolutely sure, that I said hello to Merritt and Esther way up there in Columbia, California. And that, of course, is Mom and Dad. They're watching and hoping for Tim to win here.
Well, Tim wants to win right here, down 27. He needs to strike in the 8th frame on this left line. More room. Rolled out, left to 10. See that ball just kind of quit right at the pocket there?
Tim shaking his head, was hoping for a little carry there to make things interesting. Of course, aside from bowling on the PBA Senior Tour, he also owns Albin's Bowling Supply in Torrance, California.
You see the ball kind of quit at the pocket, leaves that soft 10. This is the spare he practiced for at least 20 minutes on the before the telecast. That's trouble. That's why he practiced it, because he knew he was going to have... Timmy throws the same shot at the strike ball and the spare ball. And most contemporary players will throw a different shot at the spares. They'll throw it straighter and harder.
He's really a racing buff, and you talked about that. He's had more injuries than Evel Knievel, I think, in terms of racing. Meanwhile, Gene Stus keeps rolling along. He's thinking about John Hursinna, who will be up next if he defeats Tim Albin.
John Hursinna is thinking about 242. With their average, they'd say this guy may shoot another 300 at me. Brunswick would give him another 100,000 if he shot another 300.
Oh, sure they would. Those folks? Yeah. No question. No question. No. Jack Reichert would give him 100,000.
Personal check?
Sure he would.
A lot of room.
With another strike, and he's on target now to shoot 249. We may see 800 plus here tonight as well.
It's entirely possible. Entirely possible. 3 spares is all you have. Watch how light it comes in. Barely hits the head pin. The head pin clips the 2. That's known as the bucket crumbler.
Thumbs up. Of course, we have to give credit where credit is due. Tom Zader, the PBA Senior Tour Lane Maintenance Director, is the guy who designed the oil pattern this week and put it out there.
And the difference between the 2 players is the speed. Stus, the lane is dry out there, and Timmy's trying to overcome it again with loft and turn, and his ball's actually rolling out of the pocket, where Stus has got good speed and ball's finishing it.
It's interesting with Tim. Obviously, we talked about his racing career, and he said it's extremely technical. He said people that don't really understand racing don't have any idea how many factors that you have to apply, tires and managing the car. He said, but that's why I've been interested in bowling again. He said, with all the new high-tech equipment and all the things that are happening in the game, he said it just kind of sucked me right back in, you know, with leverage weight, axis weight, the different surfaces, bowling balls, and that's why he's back bowling.
But interesting, I talked to Gene, and I said, what kind of weights do you have in your ball? And he said, well, I just got a little side and a little top, which means the ball, he wants the ball to go down the lane a little bit and make it a reasonably decent finish at the pocket. You know, it's just traditional weights that have been around the game of bowling for 40 years. So it's nothing exotic like the block weight, the leverage weight, or all these different new things. Well, it's an experience. Timmy had a good time while he was out there, but didn't present too much of a challenge to Mr. Stus.
Gene Stus, the man of the hour right now, with a perfect game in game number 1. And that was worth $110,000. That's a lot of dough. Uh-oh, an errant shot on lane 22. I thought it would never happen.
Never happened on it. That's the first one that he started at the pocket rather than down the lane, leaves the baby split, and that's just concentration. You know, he's in such a good mood right now.
Well, the match obviously was well in hand, so obviously didn't concentrate.
That's the baby split. So nothing's going wrong for him tonight right now.
It'll be interesting to chat with him at the end of the telecast. Find out what really he was thinking about.
You're assuming he's going to make it all the way through, huh?
Well, we're going to talk to him one way or another.
Okay.
If not anything else, to ask for a loan somewhere along the line.
$110,000.
Wow. You had some years where you didn't make $110,000.
I never made $100,000. No. Did you see that solid 10? That was just like his 12th ball last
Never
game.
think it's consistent so
Gene
much.
Stus with a 300 game and 2